All right, welcome back to another ROG Ally game test, The Witcher 3. We're gonna go through all the settings: low, medium, high, ultra, ray tracing, maybe some 900p to see how this game performs. But to start things off, we're gonna jump in and go through all the settings at the 17 watt performance. Full screen, 1080p, 120 frames. Start things off nice and easy. Low.
Slow now.
Yo, chill, lady. I'm not gonna hurt nobody. Okay, this is 1080p, low settings, 17 watt performance mode. We're getting around 50 frames per second, high 40 frames per second. We are in a busy city, so there's a lot going on. But again, I was kind of hoping for a little bit better performance. Yeah, we're definitely just hanging at that 40s, not going above 50. And at low settings, the game looks fine, but it definitely looks better at higher settings, for sure. Let's get out of that city. Try to get a little easier performance for this. Yeah, we're still just chilling at that 50. Now we're getting almost mid 50 frames per second. But if I do remember correctly, the Steam Deck presets run faster on the Steam Deck than low settings. Go to medium settings. Just make sure all this is right. All right, medium settings. Did you see that? Again! Just disconnects and connects again. Janky. All right, medium settings, 1080p, 17 watt performance mode, 40, 30 frames per second. I wonder how much better we'll get if we jump things to 900p. After we go through all these settings, we'll do that. I'm really hoping that we'll get some, 60 frames per second. On a game from, what was it, 2017? Am I right on that? I don't even know. But it's like Cyberpunk was performing about this good. So why is it doing this? Come on, guys. Come on. All right, now we'll go to high settings. And that's it. They make it pretty easy. Give it a second to load in. See what we get. I mean, we are just above 30 frames per second. Now the game is, though, looking pretty nice. 1080p, high settings. And we're staying above 30. Right now we're at a high 30, 36, 37, mid 30s. But look at all that behind us. It just barely dipped under 30 frames per second. But this is certainly a game that you can play at 30 frames per second. And being able to play it at full HD, high settings, is not bad. This would be, definitely an enjoyable way to experience this game. It is making me very interested, though, to try those Steam Deck presets, see what it looks like. So let's do it. Well, first we got to do Ultra. This should be fun. Ultra, 17 watt, 1080p. We're getting that high 20s. It's so close. I bet in turbo mode, this is going to hit 30 frames per second. And playing this game, I mean, honestly, right now I'm barely noticing that this is like mid 20s frames per second. It's not feeling that much different from the 30 frames per second at high settings. But if we ran into town, this would probably just plummet. Roach. Where you at? Whoa. He appears the funniest places. All right. Here we go. Let's see how bad we can get this. Ultra settings. 1080p. Okay, honestly, getting into town, it's not dropping. It's like 1 frame. 27 now. 29. 30 frames per second. This is at ultra settings. 1080p. This is highly impressive. I don't know why I was doing so bad at the other. Like low, medium, high. It was okay. And now it's just like crushing at ultra. Very interesting. All right, ray tracing. The first ray tracing settings set to performance here. I wonder what it sets all the actual settings at the first ray tracing. Oh, ultra. So this is ultra plus ray tracing and the performance mode ray tracing. I see. I have a bad feeling about this. Oh yeah, look at that, 10 frames per second. 9, we're in the single digits. Man, it looks really nice. How sick would it be if the second gen handhelds could play ray tracing at like 30 frames per second, 1080p? Because this is definitely not. Well, that was fun. Short-lived. Let's get the heck out of that. All right, the last option here. We definitely need to check out that Steam Deck preset. All right, 1080p, 17 watt, Steam Deck preset. I have high hopes for this one. This is really well optimized on the Steam Deck. And I would assume that it would work quite well on here as well. We're hitting that 45 frames per second area. Not bad. It's looking okay. 45 frames per second. High 40s now as we get out of the little city area. I love that these games, some of them, give you that Steam Deck option. It just makes it way easier to just jump in a game, select Steam Deck, and just start playing. Instead of tweaking with all the settings yourself and whatnot. That was great. So now I think it's time that we go in and change the resolution. 900p. I'm gonna also change it in the command center. Oh, it did it automatically. Very nice. So we're still in that performance mode. But now we're at 900p Steam Deck settings. And already it almost is, I mean, dude, it looks better. Why does it look better? That's so dumb. It's probably just because of that 60 frames per second. Because it's just nice and smooth now. Okay, now we're getting, you know, mid 50s. I don't think I would play most games at 1080p, which is just making me a stronger believer in that the Steam Deck is just superior. They're not trying to dazzle you with their marketing schemes of, you know, a 1080p 120 hertz monitor that's built into it, because really these games are looking better at 900p running at 60 frames per second. The fact that the Steam Deck made an 800p OLED 90 hertz screen was just brilliant. Those were the correct specs, I think. And it would be awesome to see something like that on a device like this right here. But also, I think they're trying to build for what's going to be their Gen 2. And in which case, all of this could be played at 1080p. I mean, yeah, 900p, not bad. Let's just go and play at the ultra settings. 900p, 17 watt performance. Give it a second, kind of balance out, load everything in. Yeah, we're getting above 30 frames per second here. 900p Ultra. So if you wanted to, you could definitely play it like this. It seems a little... I don't know, maybe it's fine. It's probably just going from almost 60 to 30.
Now, where'd you get them catty peepers?
Just feels janky, but it's not. I think it's fine. Now it's time for 900p turbo mode. We're still at that ultra settings, but now we're in turbo. And yeah. I think it's, this is probably what's happening. I've been freaking out about the controls. It's because I touch it, it goes to mouse, and then it just takes a second to realize that I want keyboard. All right, Ultra 900p with the turbo mode initiated. And now we're getting to 40 frames per second. See this? This is very nice. It's pretty remarkable too. Almost sticking at that 40 frames per second in ultra settings. And because the battery is so huge in this game, this is totally doable. You could play this on the go. It's doing 44 watts right now, but there's an 80 watt battery. So we're just shy of 2 hours of gameplay where it looks like this. Ray tracing. So this is ultra plus ray tracing, but now we're at that 900p and turbo. See if this could hang above 30 frames per second, which maybe I guess I don't need to talk about that yet because it doesn't look like we're gonna get anything close. We're at 15, 14. Just for fun, let's quick jump down to 720p. Just give it its best possible chances. Okay, so we're at turbo, ray tracing at 720p. And it doesn't look like we're gonna get that 30 frames per second. We're not even getting 20 frames per second. I mean, that was a fun little test. Maybe next year. But ray tracing, just not very optimized. All right, back to 900p. Turbo, low settings. We're in that mid 60s to high 60 frames per second. I mean, you can tell the textures and stuff don't look so great, but honestly, you could probably bump up textures and not see much, if any, performance loss. But yeah, if you wanted to play this at a high 60 frames per second on this device, you can. And in fact, it's not even pulling 40 watts now. So this is definitely 2 hours of gameplay like this. It is dipping just below 60 frames per second. So it is basically, you know, turbo mode is going to make it more possible to have a solid above 60 frames per second experience at 900p, not 1080p. All right, I think that's it, guys. That was The Witcher 3 on the ROG Ally X. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave me a comment of any games that you'd like me to test on this device or the OLED Steam Deck for that matter. But this guy, I don't know if I'm gonna keep him. He's pretty cool, but I don't know if he's cool enough to, you know, have this and the OLED when this guy costs $800. So we'll see. I'll have him for a couple more days for sure. So make sure to leave a comment if you want to see something done with it. But that's it. Make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up. Later.